During the lockdown in 2020, we had loads of free time since we didn't have schools. So at first, I did play a shit ton of games, especially League, but that got boring. So I started reading and consuming content to improve my life. Since, when you're alone in a flat, you do a lot of contemplating, and I realized I wanted to change a lot of things about me. I wanted a better body, better understanding of business, finance, so I can earn more money. And during that time, I consumed a lot of books and a lot of YouTube videos. And I did consume a lot of quality content. However, I had a very, very unfortunate way of taking notes, if I took any. I was enamored by the idea of just consuming content, consuming knowledge, just learning, which I believe is very good. And I'm restoring that way of thinking now as well. But it's equally as important to take quality notes. And why is that even important? Well, I thought the same really. I thought it was, a waste of time. I just was focused on consuming and learning. And even if I did take notes, they were squiggled with my very awful handwriting. And that turned out to be a catastrophe, really, because I remember very little from that time where I read the books. Now that I want to revisit some of those things, going back to basics, exercise about learning, about habits as well, for example, Atomic Habits. I took that was, a meta self-help book that everybody read, but I did it as well. And I put the notes in a school notebook that I used before, just to have it there. And that was lost in the 3 moves that I had after that. And even if I had it, who knows if I was able to read it. And out of this frustration that I had 2 months ago, because I don't want to read Atomic Habits again. I don't want to revisit all of old Jeff Nippard's videos. I started researching about note-taking so it doesn't happen to me again. And that's where the idea of making this video came to be, because I found out a really cool app to have all of your notes organized in a way that your brain is able to access them very, very efficiently. So I'm combining Obsidian and Zettelkasten, an organizational system. So let's start with the introduction to the whole productivity system that we're going to use for organizing our thoughts. It's called Zettelkasten, and it means slip box in German. And the main principle of this system is not to think of notes as a static linear system, but rather a breathing, living network of ideas that are over time enriched by other informations. So each node that you take using this system is creating essentially a node in the network, and the connections in that network are made in a meaningful way. A great thing about Obsidian is that we have visual representations of how your nodes are connected in the network. Although this is a little bit of a brief and vague explanation, we will go into it more deeply when I show you the app. I'm using Obsidian because it's actually designed for network thinking, not like, for example, Notion, which is very linear, powerful but linear. Obsidian, although it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles from Notion, it's much better for organizing your thoughts and not creating websites, apps, tools, etc. So this is what my Obsidian looks like here. As you can see, I split it into 7 different sections. And also this thing here is for open notes, which I am currently editing, adding on to, which I'm actively working on. So majority of this I got from Odysseus' video. Please check him out in the description below. And he managed to combine Obsidian with Zettelkasten, which was perfect for me because I wanted to do that as well. So I could skip a few steps and save some time. And as you can see here, this is for rough notes, not to be confused with these main notes, but just something, for example, a grocery list or some random fact that you found or whatever. I also use it here for pictures. If you paste a picture here or if you upload, it goes here as well, and it looks very ugly, so I put it there. Also some rough plans and stuff like that, I put it inside here. And for privacy reasons, I'm not gonna expand onto it. And the next one is source material. This was previously the extent of my notes, just the source material, that's it. I just jot down what I read, the highlights, whatever. And that is simply not enough for you to have a good amount of retention you need to really expand on those notes and also write essays so you can just understand how your brain is flowing and how it's connecting these, and to think further and more deeply. So this is what it looks like for me here. I got it under different sections: articles, books, others, just like whatever, papers, like you can copy things from Perplexity here, podcasts, quotes, videos, webinars. And then, for example, for a book, it looks like this, or for best loser wins, like this here, stuff like that. And the next thing that I have here is tags. And essentially how they function is for the main notes. If you go to, let's say, let's do silver bullet here. So you put the trading tag and the ICT tag, which is basically the person who created this. You just use it so you can organize these thoughts. It's just a tag, so you can more easily find it in the graph here as it grows. I know it's hectic, but for example, the trading is here, so everything for trading is under here. And then these clusters get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you expand onto these tags and connect them to the main nodes. Indexes. This is a little bit tricky to understand, but essentially what it is when the certain tag starts growing more and more and more, and you notice that you're constantly referencing it, you can put it inside this here and then expand onto it because it seems like it is an important topic for you. So how it looks like is this: you click onto it, or from graph you see, okay, a lot of connections are here. After some years you come back and see what's up, and then it opens here. You see you put different headers here so you can better organize it and showcase to yourself as well that this is something that is a deeper topic, that it has different segments. So you reference then your source materials here, and you connect the source materials, all the source materials to this, even though they might not sometimes produce a main node, they will still be sourced here. As you can see here, I split it into technical analysis, then I also did trading psychology, then I'm doing trading and risk management as well here, and prop firms are down below here as well. How this functions, why I have a separate thing here for template. It's not something that is to be really looked at often. It's just your templates that you use by Control T, and they pop up. I will show you an example. But here's the main node from Odysseus's video. I just copied completely. It has date and time, status tag, the title copies from this, and then you do the references. I will explain this in the next segment, don't worry about it. And another one that I created myself is this essay note, which is essentially for this number 7. Now let's jump to main node. So the main node is the juicy stuff of this whole Obsidian workflow. It's the main thing that you use to actually get your retention up compared to other nodes that you might have previously used. Like I told you, my previous nodes just looked like this. Let's see. Let's do either system thinking or psycho-cybernetic. Yeah, let's do this. So this is how my usual nodes look like, and that was the extent of it. I just jot down what I read, and to a certain extent that's okay, but imagine yourself 2 years from now and you want to look at your notes. It's a little bit troublesome to just look through everything here, isn't it? But also you're jotting that down, you might not have thought about all of these separate topics too much, and you're being very narrow when it comes to it because you're only referencing your book that you're reading for that single idea. If it's something that's a worthwhile idea, which is something that you need to highlight in the book that you felt like is important, then why do you only constrain yourself in terms of a book and what is written there? You need to expand more onto different references and different points, and allow that idea as well to be expanded upon later and grew upon. Essentially, what we are going to do here is you go and try to find something that is worthwhile. Let's say dehypnotize yourself from false belief. New one. And we type in how to remove false and negative beliefs. And you do this, and you do main note. So these statuses here from DCS's video, he has 3. He has a child, he has adult, no sorry, he has baby, child, and adult. I don't often put them really, but for the sake of this one we can. Baby signifies that it's a new idea. And then you put in the tag. We can put psychology, we can put self-development, and we can put, and then you put the reference here from the book Psycho-Cybernetics. And then we have this example: hypnotic subjects are able to do surprising things only when convinced that the hypnotist's words are true statements, and if you're firmly convinced that an idea is true, it'll have the same effect upon you as the hypnosis. And then, you can expand further on this idea, writing whatever. You go then, for example, and you can open ChatGPT, write to it, what are some further examples of this, and then you put that reference there. Or also manually researching as well, using YouTube and whatever, trying to understand the hypnosis maybe, for example, or just the broad subject of this, how to remove false and negative beliefs. And you expand further with some different examples from the book as well, and you get the idea. How I envision that, and this is a new addition for me, so I don't have too many examples, but how I envision it essentially is that I'm noticing that I don't review my notes too much. So this is a way for me to actually quiz myself on that knowledge and to actually see how much I retained, because the main thing that I want to improve is retention. So if you go here, we will do Psycho-Cybernetics, and you put the tags as well there: psychology, self-development. For me, honestly, because I haven't really worked on writing too much, I often have these writer's blocks. So use these points here, I use them in my journaling as well, just to guide you into what direction you should think and to inspire you, really. You're not confined to only use that, but it's a great thing to avoid the analysis paralysis and just actually start doing it. And then you can, anything additional, you can have it here. And this was just the introductory video to my whole productivity workflow. And if you want to check out how to supercharge your learning using AI, check the video right here.